Payday. The king was accompanied by a pixie who was able to cast powerful healing magic. Any direct attack would be suicidal. Mercifully, the omniscient and helpful narrator was at hand. He pointed out to the impatient evil that the pixie went off from time to time in order to check that all was well, and much more importantly, eat her supper in a little camp to the south. The pixie buzzed over to eat her meal. The ultimate evil prepared an ambush.
Roses are red, tulips oft too. Lose some weight.
One would think that killing a fragile flying being wouldn't be rocket science. But an incredibly incompetent evil had taken far too long in doing so and had startled a few guards into action. And so the negligent evil promptly allowed the only really vital unit to this mission to die. The goblin leader sighed and put his second best assassin at evil's disposal at the basement exit. Despite its massive firepower, the hopeless evil had lost his Gobobot. Really, that should be the end of the story. However, somehow, another one of these wonderful creatures miraculously appeared in the vicinity of the Goblin Cave. Hopefully, it would receive a little bit more care and attention than its predecessor.
Roses are red, and I don't have an odor. Hodor. Roses are red, and I don't have an odor. Roses are red.
The charitable evil had researched the hospital. This would enable its units to quickly recover from their injuries, once it had been built, that is.
Roses are red, lilies are white. I love you totally, utterly, and no shite. Roses are red, dandelions are yellow. Why don't you write it home yourself in jello? Brilliant!
annoying little pixie had spoken her last healing spell. The crafty-minded evil sculpted a fan from her wings. Now it was time to look for King Robert and ensure his early demise. The caring evil had good-naturedly built a hospital for its suffering creatures. It, however, still lacked a hospital bed. Little Snots would then bring any units there that had been injured in the dungeon.
Roses are red, tulips oft. Loose and wet from the belly do.
It's payday.
Roses are red, fine. Your bum is as big as a white rose.
King Robert fell, and the ultimate evil had received its well-deserved revenge. But there were still many more heroes out there who deserved to bite the dust. Their time would come. The demigod Krotos, one of the sniveling cowards who had banished the ultimate evil, had just marched his alliance army out of the swamplands to fight the snake-like Nagas. The ultimate evil wanted to teach him the full futility of war by ensuring his untimely passing. Besides, the Nagas could prove to be valuable allies. King Robert was defeated, but there were more heroes whose life the ultimately vindictive evil was after. Here in the swamplands, the demigod Krotos was just leading the Alliance's troops against feral Naga clans. They had retreated here after the collapse of the Dark Army. It would seem sensible to first strike an alliance with these Nagas before the impatient evil squared up against Krotos. The gold-greedy evil built the first underground treasury, thus laying the foundations for insane amounts of hoarded treasure. The first brewery was built underground. Later, orcs and goblins would get obscenely drunk there, and then meander through the dungeons, slurring their words and singing lewd songs. the Alliance had discovered the presence of the ultimate evil. This had nothing to do with a tip-off from a certain narrator who wanted to increase the tension. It was pure coincidence. The good people responded, as you might expect, with a direct attack on the dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Payday! The exploration Keen Evil sent its troops to the surface for the first time. The swamplands spread out before them. The next step was to either find the Nagas and recruit them, or be massacred by the army of the Alliance. It was a difficult decision. A tinkerer's cave had been built. Soon traps and doors in the dungeon would make any would-be hero's life more tricky. Pleased Evil's hard-working goblins had made plans for a new room, a guard room. There, creatures could patrol and keep a lookout for heroes. Immediately, the ultimate evil got down to having this room researched. The army of the ultimate evil could view the temple from the top of the hill, and it did indeed not look good for the Nagas. The nauseatingly good hero Krotos personally led the Alliance into battle and was forcing the snake creatures to retreat. Only his death would deliver the temple back into the hands of evil. Well, that could be arranged. The troops of the ultimate evil stumbled upon a patrol of the Alliance that had caught some Nagas. Of course, they immediately set about wiping out the much-hated heroes. Oh, and by the way, you could of course also set those Nagas free. Defend the throne room. The last fighter in the patrol was defeated. Creatures of the Horde cheered. Oh yes, and set the Naga free as well. They were overjoyed to join the ultimate evil. The eager for new units evil sent his creatures further towards where it expected the Naga camp to be. The Nagas kept up their fight to free their unholy temple from the Alliance. If the ultimate evil was to help them win it back, then their support would be guaranteed. Since that fitted perfectly with the planned revenge on Krotos, it was the ideal solution. The approaching horde startled a few animals. Dinner. "100 years later, the dungeon of outdated evil was discovered by other baddies. Following careful investigation, they came upon the single reason why this dungeon had failed. There was no guard room. Maybe you should work towards preventing this future becoming reality." Payday. The Horde defeated the bears with ease and stocked up on bear meat. However, as bear meat is not actually a resource in the game, this was utterly irrelevant. The guard room was researched and ready for construction. Creatures that were thrown there by the hand of terror would keep watch and be especially vigilant for intruders. They were able to alert other creatures near the guard room and summon them for reinforcement as well. A small group of Alliance troops had gathered here. The presence of the Nagas ensured that the all-seeing evil could see even the cloaked units. The throne room is under attack. At last, the horde reached the Naga's camp. They were not able to offer the ultimate evil much help. However, they spoke of an artifact that was hidden deep down in the mountain. It would make defeating the Alliance a piece of cake. The Nagas opened a portal to the artifact using their ancient magic. The insidious evil debated briefly whether it was worth the risk. Finally, however, it decided it was only a question of its creatures' lives, and of course, the ultimate evil didn't give a toss about them. The horde had passed through the Naga portal and found themselves in an old altar chamber, in the center of which lay a very ancient-looking object. This had to be the artifact. Some creatures appeared to be guarding it. I don't believe it. Is there really still a guard at the artifact? My goodness, my grandma would have finished the whole game by now. Move your butt, do something. Once the artifact guards were eliminated, the artifact began to glow. It almost seemed to be waiting to be picked up. It looked as if the artifact would fit perfectly into the mysterious altar base that lay deep within the dungeon of the ultimate evil. Maybe it would be a good idea to place it there. The artifact was currently lifeless. It needed some magic. The next task for the expanding evil's creatures was to expose some mana crystals. This mana would be necessary to charge the artifact up. Wait a moment, that's already been done. Well, looks like someone is trying to become the teacher's pet. Nerd. But a mana crystal on its own was really of no value to the ultimate evil. It would take a crystal chamber to make this valuable asset usable. A room was quickly installed under the crystal. Payday! Enemies have entered the dungeon. A hospital had been built. From now on, wounded monsters could be cured there. The artifact is under attack. The crystal chamber shone with the brilliance of a freshly painted room. To exploit this effectively, the success-enabling evil was now able to recruit Nagas. At this exact moment, the clan conveniently placed some of these snake-like beings at its disposal. Apparently, it had not escaped the notice of the Alliance's magicians that something disturbing was going on in the underground. So they decided to mount powerful attacks on the dungeon. But the ultimate evil had been warned, that's what I'm doing right now, by the way, and created such a formidable defense that it would have brought tears to the eyes of any tower defense player. A cry for help from a few Nagas trapped in a very remote area reached the ultimate evil while it was defending the dungeon. Maybe they could be saved by using a spell, which was ready to be unlocked in the crystal chamber. Slowly, but surely, the artifact filled itself up with magic. Wave-by-wave tactics of the Alliance had so far proven unsuccessful. So, a strategic genius had decided to open up a second entrance to the underground in order to send, well, wave after wave of units into the dungeon. The ultimate evil had learned a spell. This would enable the Nagas to be rescued. It immediately set about doing so. It's payday. The spell ensured the Naga's safe passage into the dungeon of the ultimate evil. Excellent work. Enemies have entered the dungeon. The artifact was filled with magic. Neither did it take too long, nor did it go too fast. It was filled up exactly when the level designers intended it to be. There are enemies in your dungeon. The artifact was almost bursting with energy. It was now producing mana independently and ready to stand by the ultimate evil's side in the battle for the temple. It also gave the ultimate evil access to a few more magic spells. Now it was time to take the temple and destroy Krotos. The ultimate evil gathered all the troops together to attack in one devastating wave. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon. There are enemies in your dungeon. The unspeakable evil's creatures approached the Alliance's camp. An impressive dam towered into the sky in the background. However, this path led to absolutely nowhere. The ultimate evil, or more precisely its creatures, destroyed the Alliance's camp with the greatest of ease. It considered having a luxury hotel for stressed dungeon managers built there. Payday. It was now time to fight Protos. After a long pause, the unspeakable evil positioned its army and went into battle against him. The creatures of a suspiciously suicidal evil made their way towards a treacherous ambush. At the last minute, however, they changed their minds. Apologies, I thought that the Horde would take a different path because there is an ambush awaiting them here. But obviously that doesn't seem to be bothering someone at all. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Together with its Naga allies, the army of the ultimate evil stormed the Naga temple. The battle began. Payday. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Hopefully no one has arachnophobia. A spider nest has been discovered. Payday. Enemies have entered the dungeon. There are enemies in your dungeon. It's payday. It wouldn't be long before Krotos was defeated. Just a few more blows and he would fall. Hey, wait! What do you think you're doing? Come back, you coward! I mean, seeing that defeat was inevitable, Krotos opted for a strategic retreat, leaving the temple in the ultimate evil's power. The gathered evilness then burst the nearby dam, and the Alliance's camp disappeared under waves of water with a very satisfactory gurgling sound. Despite the soggy end to the Alliance, the ultimate evil was livid. It had just been robbed of a delicious revenge. But, if I may be so bold, that was yet to come. I saw it in the script.